Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be digging into Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles. We're going to begin our playthrough. This is going to be absolutely epic. My goal is to actually get through this entire storybook. We're going to go on a giant campaign in Sword and Sorcery. And who better to go on this campaign with than Colin from the One Stop Co-op Shop. He is going to be recording this campaign with me as well. And for those that don't know Sword and Sorcery, it is a dungeon crawler that actually has expanded in this new one to actually have some kind of road and city events that you're going to be able to take part in. I'm super excited to dig into this. Colin and I are both going to be controlling one character, and then we're also going to have a third character that we're going to cooperate and work together to play. This is going to be an absolute epic game. I'm super excited to bring this to you. It's been one of my long-time wants that has finally come. I'm super excited. I'm going to go ahead and show you the characters we're going to be playing, and then I'm going to go ahead and set up the first mission, and then we're going to go through that entire first mission in this video. This is going to be an absolutely epic video. I'm super excited to do this. And if you're excited to see what befalls our brave adventurers in Sword and Sorcery, then I need you to meet me at the table.
The last time you will hear.
We're going to begin with our intro. And for those of you that have played Sword and Sorcery before, this may look very familiar. This actual intro part is actually exactly from the original game. It says, "My name is Marcus, High Cleric of the Divine Aneres Prior of the Monastery of Heavenshire, and the last living adept of the Master Claudius, the only witness of what happened centuries ago. And it is I, the chronicler, who alone can tell thee of this ancient saga. Let me tell you of those days of high adventure." Now this is different, which is kind of cool. "Time flows like a swollen river, unstoppable, careless about its surroundings. This is further remarked by the fact that my life, after more than 100 years, is notwithstanding the power of our mighty Lady Neris, bestowed upon me, is fading away. I have been lucky. I have seen the resurrection of the heroes of the Talon Coast, living witness to their glorious quest, even taken part in it. In some instances, their memory, whatever they may be now, has aroused my curiosity and set in motion my investigation about my master, High Cleric Claudius, and his knowledge of the resurrection ritual. Nay, even more than that, how did he become so close with the ancestral sorcery that he managed to perfectly control the invocation boundaries? The time spent in remembrance and among old, crumbling scrolls ultimately brought me to this secret crypt of the monastery, a place lit for the first time in ages by my small candle dancing alone in the dark. Answers my age-born wisdom could not provide now lie before me in the passages of the small worn tomes entitled Ancient Chronicles of the Northern Lands. The pages I'm about to read seem to represent a never-ending story that repeats itself time and time again. It is a secret myth I'm about to bring back to light, a legend that begins with small yet powerful words, recorded memories of the faithful cleric of 3 gods. And that was how it all began." I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself with the never-ending story part. Oh, I've been waiting to do that for a while. We'll be doing Act 1, Quest 1, Anvil of the Gods. Here's the introduction. It's pretty small, so I'm glad I can read it to you. "A bolt of mystical light awakens the ancient heroes from the sweet oblivion of their eternal sleep. All that once was has come to be once again. As they open their eyes, the heroes contemplate the ethereal world, blurred and wrapped in the translucent white mist. A few moments later, the eternal silence of the infinite is broken by a choir. 3 voices sing together in their minds." We're going to go ahead and get everything set up, and right here it says see starting conditions and special quest rules, and then read paragraph 1.1 from the Book of Secrets. So we're going to get everything set up, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. So it shows here first our enemy deck is going to be made up of giant green spiders, which is of course awesome, because why wouldn't they have bugs in every game? I'm deathly afraid of bugs as usual. All right, we also have an event deck that has 3 cards that we're going to go ahead and set up. Here's our special quest rules. It says starting condition, regardless of the chosen game mode, campaign, or standalone, heroes start without any items and in ghost soul form with the hero card flipped. Quest fail. The quest fails if the last event card is discarded. See paragraph 1.12. And right down here it shows that if you did do this as a stand-alone adventure, you're going to start with absolutely nothing. This is going to be the map and how it's laid out. It also shows us all the tokens we're going to be placing out on the board, what tokens we're going to need, and where we're going to be reading from the Book of Secrets as we progress through this adventure. We also have special events 1 and 2, and those cards are going to be placed down on the map. You'll see that, and it also tells us up here what map tiles we have. Let's go ahead, set this up, and we're also going to meet our characters. I've gone ahead and placed out all our map tiles, so we're all set to get this thing going. Oh, I'm super excited. I've also put out the 2 different card trays that we're going to put all the different cards that we're going to use in this chapter, and even as we go forward in the campaign into these holders. They're really cool. I'm a huge fan of these. These are really, really cool. Way to go, Ares Games. Keep on making those. Those are awesome. We're going to go ahead and place out our map tokens. The first one we're going to do is we've got this closed spawn gate. We're going to place this right here like it tells us to in this tile. Now, when you're placing things in tiles, it doesn't matter where it is in the tile. The line of sight is only having to do with these X's here. So if this is right here and I was standing up here, I wouldn't be able to see this because it has to do with this X being able to see this X and drawing a straight line to it. And it would be going through here, so we wouldn't be able to see anything on this tile from this one, just to let you know how line of sight works. So I'm going to go ahead and place that token right there. We're also now going to go ahead and place down all of our different waypoints. We have 4 of them. And they're going to come as 1, 2, 3, and 4, and X actually. And we're going to go ahead and place them according to the book. And sometimes in some of the chapters, you're going to place them face down and maybe mix a couple of them up, for example, and place them out randomly. But in this chapter, it does tell us how to place them. We're going to place number 1 here, number 2 here. We're going to place X right over here next to that spawn gate. I wonder what might happen over there. And then we also get number 3. We're going to place it right here in this tile. Continuing on, we have 2 doors. We have a normal door that we're going to go ahead and place right here. That can be opened with a free action, and it doesn't impede, slow your movement down. If you have more movement, you can continue through this door. We're also going to put out this lock door. This lock door does take a bash action to try to get through it. So we're going to place that right there, just like that. The next thing we're going to go ahead and place down is going to be our open shrine gate, which is right here. This is the shrine gate that we can spawn at if we ever turn into a ghost form. We can come back here and spawn right there. That's about all there are for those, except for one more thing, and that's the shadow tokens. Now, these are tokens that you don't know what's on the back side, except for this map, because we're only placing one up because we're playing with 3 characters. Normally, it'll tell you to mix up like 3 or 4 of these and place them out kind of randomly, but there's only one that's going to be placed right here. And it's going to be a champion, which means it's going to be an enemy with a special power, an enemy power. We're going to place that right out here, and if we can ever draw a line of sight to this token, then we're going to go ahead, reveal it, spawn the monster, and then continue on with our whatever we're doing. But once it comes to the end of our turn, we would then be activating this based on the encounter cards that we draw. So sometimes it activates, sometimes it doesn't. You'll never know until you draw your encounter card. Those are all the different tokens we're going to place out. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and place out our 2 story event cards, 1 and 2, and both of them say the same thing: read and apply the story effect described in the storybook, and those are going to be found in each of these 2 spots here and here. They're going to be revealed just like this, and whenever we step onto it, we're going to go ahead and read the effect according to what it says in our Book of Secrets, so we don't, of course, know what's going on until it does. Once that's done, a couple different things could happen. 1, you could discard this card, or 2, you could add it to the top of your event deck. And the event deck is built up with different cards. So the first card we're going to go is we're going to go ahead and grab card 20 right here, and we're going to go ahead and place it right there. Then we're going to go ahead and grab card 12 and 14. We're going to place both of these down as well. We're not going to know which one's which. We're going to have to shuffle these up, and this is how you create your event deck. Now, this is a very small event deck. It's only 3 cards long. So we put number 20 on top of these other 2 cards, and we put them right up here, ready to be revealed. And like I said, these story event cards can be discarded, or sometimes they go on top of here. This is going to be your timer in the game. And one of the lose conditions for this scenario, or this quest, I should say, is that if this ever runs out, we lose and we have to read the lose condition. A lot of the times you can fail forward in this game, sometimes you don't. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. So our event deck is all set up. We have all our tokens out on the board. Now it's time to get our cards. Now, when we saw that the only enemy in the enemy deck is going to be our green spiders. Again, as the game goes forward, this will grow. So we have two different spiders, and the only difference between these two spiders is that one will give us a soul shard when we kill it. The other one will give us 5 crowns. We're going to go ahead and mix those two cards up and place them right over here in the monster area. That's where the enemies are going to go. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab the enemy powers. Now look at all these enemy powers we have. We have a lot of enemy powers. We're again going to shuffle that up, give it a good old truffle shuffle, and then we're going to place this over in the enemy powers section. And whenever we draw a token that gives us an ability to give a monster an enemy power, we'll draw one of those, and that will be going along with whatever enemy it happens to be with. Next, we have our treasure deck right here. Again, good old truffle shuffle, and we'll place it right over there. We've got a nice little gem, but we don't know where that is anymore. We're going to put that right in the treasure slot over here. Then we have the Emporium, which is filled with a lot of different cards that we could buy. But we can't do it until the story tells us to. And here's how much gold some of these cost. So upwards of 100 or 45. And you can look at these and do whatever you want with it. You can see these at all the time. There's never like a way you can't look through these. Like for example, here's one for 30. And of course they have a backside as well. For 20, you could get it for these. So there's two different versions of the same item. One's usually a little bit more powerful than the other. We're going to stick this right over here. That's where our Emporium goes. We have our trap deck. Our trap deck is, it could be pretty bad. Now, the way the traps work is a lot of times when you open doors, you're going to have to deal with traps. Opening treasure chests, you have to deal with traps. Potentially story events, or even these waypoints might make traps come out. So traps are a big part of the game. We're going to put them right there. The last thing I have is our encounter deck. Again, give this a good old truffle shuffle. We're going to put that in the encounter thing. Whenever it comes to the monster's turn, we draw the encounter card to see what happens. I'm going to show you one really quick. For example, we have this one, Encounter. Activate all wounded enemies. Otherwise, all enemies and minions use their action power here, or their action activity. And we're going to go ahead and place this right over here. Those are all done. We have all our cards all set up. We have all of our things done. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the enemy that we're going to be fighting against. We have those green spiders. So again, we're going to go ahead and take your scroll for whatever monsters are in your enemy deck. Now, of course, you may be adding scrolls to the game as you go, because some of these spawn points or waypoints or story events may have things happen where other enemies actually come out and fight you. But I don't know. We haven't played any of this. I don't know how it's going to work. But on the back of the scroll, it tells you everything you need to know about your enemy. It tells you how it moves and attacks. It tells you what its preferred victim is. It tells you who it is. It tells you what type of monster it is. It also shows you the actual attack that it makes, what it does, like bite or web. And that's all going to be explained, whether or not it does its bite or its web, based on where it is on the board and how it's going to react to you. Also, it shows all the different abilities it has, and this is its action activity. So according to that card, if we weren't a wounded spider, we'd go ahead and do our action activity, which would be shown right here. So we're going to get this scroll, we're going to place it off to the side, but when our monsters come out, we're going to go ahead and grab this, and then we're going to give it to one of the players, and the player is going to be in charge of then those monsters. If you ever draw another type of monster, you'll go ahead and grab another scroll. For example, these vermin, I don't know, they're just right on top here. We could go ahead and give this then to another player to be in charge of those monsters. So everybody kind of gets their turn at being with the monsters as you're going through the game. It's a really cool little system. It keeps everybody active and engaged during the game. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab our soul shard counter. We're going to place it right there. If we ever get soul shards, we can put them right here. And if we ever have to level up our characters, we can go ahead and tick these up and down based on how we use these. Or if we have to resurrect a person, you're going to lose shards. It's really cool. You gain and lose shards. We're also going to grab our 2 minis for the 2 monsters that we have in that deck. We have our green spiders. They're right here. Raw green spiders. Yes, I know. I'm afraid of spiders. They're going to go right over there. I don't want them anywhere near me. They're going to be off the board right over there. Okay. Before we go into the actual playing of the game, there is something I want to talk about, and that's the game sequence. Colin and I have played a lot of Sword and Sorcery, so we might be going pretty fast through this, and I know the first video is a good one to be able to teach a lot of people that have never played the game before. So what I really want to do is concentrate on this game sequence. Of course, if you played a lot of Sword and Sorcery, you could probably move ahead right to the gameplay if you want to, and of course there are timestamps where you could do that. But what I would want to discuss are the 3 different phases: the time phase, the battle phase, and the event phase. During this game, you're going to go through each of those phases while the quest progresses, and they're divided into multiple sub-phases. The first phase I want to talk about is the time phase, where you're going to effects cleanup, which is where you're going to apply damage such as poison or fire. We'll apply other effects. We'll clean up and refresh all the different tokens that are out there, and we'll also go ahead and reflip our hero bookmarks, which are these little tokens here that denote whether or not your hero has gone or not gone yet. That's what you're going to do during the time phase. The other things we can do is power refresh, where we're going to go ahead and at points enhancements, we can refresh a power that we've picked for our character. We can also cool down the powers. The powers can be up to 4 lengths long. Depending on how powerful the power is, a lot of times it's going to take more than one time phase to refresh this power to get it back to use. And that's what you're going to be doing during the cooldown. The other one is we can do our soul enhancements and resurrections. Heroes can spend as many soul points contained in the shard pool as described to perform the following functions. We can enhance soul ranks, which will increase our powers and stats, or we can resurrect from ghost soul form while we're standing next to one of those open shrines. The meat of the game is found in the battle phase, which repeats for each hero. And you're going to go through all these steps with each hero. Notice there's a hero turn and an enemy turn. So that's right. You're going to be going and then the enemy. You're going to be going, then the enemy. And whoever is going is considered the active player if there's any rules that have to do with what happens to an active player. So during your hero turn, you're allowed to do a movement activity. You're also able to do combat actions equal to how many you have. Starting at level 1, we all only have 1 combat action. You can also go ahead and do action activities, which are going to be maybe using some of your powers or other things that you may have according to your character. And they're denoted by the star symbol or the orange symbol that is found on your dial, and you'll see these while we do our playthrough. And you can do multiple action activities as long as you have them available to you. You could have 1 or 2 based at the beginning. I think Colin's character actually does start with 2 action activities, so he's able to do 2 actions a turn, which is actually pretty cool. The other thing we can do after that is then we're going to go into our enemy turn. Now, before we talk about the enemy turn, the other actions you can do, the activities you can do is free activities. You can do countless free activities whenever you want to. One of the free activities, for example, is to go ahead and take a look at any of those waypoints that we've already put on the board. And these not only are free actions, they are actually mandatory. You have to do them according to when you hit one of these. Now, other free actions are not mandatory, but that one is. So if you see any symbols that have to do with free actions, you can do as many of those on a turn as you want. Then after you've completely done all your actions, or you decide that you have come to the end of your turn, you're going to go to the enemy turn. And if there's an enemy in play, you're going to go ahead and draw the encounter card and resolve what it says on that card. If there are no enemies to do, you're going to go ahead and resolve minion activities. And if there's none of those, you're just going to go ahead and skip the enemy turn and go right into the next hero turn. And that's very possible. There's many times you're going to be just walking on the board and not actually having to worry about an enemy. I'll bet our first turn has no enemy turns in it at all. That's going to be how the battle phase works. Let's go ahead and finish this up by talking about the event phase. The final phase is the event phase. If the top card of the event deck is unrevealed, draw it and resolve that card. Otherwise, discard the top revealed card. So remember those event cards that we placed out there on our setup? That's what they're talking about. If one is not revealed, you're going to flip this over. If it is revealed, you're just going to discard it. So they're kind of there as a timer, like I said, but it actually takes about 2 turns for each card to go off. Of course, that can be changed by anything that happens in the game through the Book of Secrets. The game continues round after round until the quest ends in either a victory or failure condition. That's how the game sequence works. And I'm going to do a little bit of a tease. I'm going to show you who we're playing, but I'm not going to show you much more than that because I'm excited to reveal the characters as we play through this story. The character I'm going to be controlling is going to be Sigrid, and this is her ghost soul form, just like the book told us to be in. And she's allowed to do a lot of free actions during her soul form. That's the symbol for a free action. You'll see the other symbols when you actually see our characters' dials once they actually get resurrected. Right now we're all dead, according to the book. I'm going to be playing Sigrid. We're going to both be controlling Jean, and then finally Colin is going to be controlling Maya. Maya is going to be his character, and all of them pretty much have the same type of thing, recall and move 5. That's how you're going to resurrect yourself, and all of us are allowed to move 5 spaces and fly. Now in Ghost Soul form, you're not actually allowed to interact with many things on the board at all. Pretty much nothing is what you're able to interact with. So we're going to go ahead, place those miniatures out, and begin. The text continues in 1.1 from the Book of Secrets, Anvil of the Gods, Introduction. The divine voice speaks in chorus, 2 male and 1 female voice forming a perfect harmony. They state their will in commanding tones. Your souls have been called back by our will, forged as divine weapons to be the harbingers of our revenge. Your destiny is to annihilate the blasphemous creatures that dared to usurp our creations. Your immortal souls prohibit your total destruction, so you will never be free until you complete your task. The power you once wielded will slowly return as you tread the path we lay before you to become masters of your own destiny. Now approach the sacred altar and let your souls regenerate your death-clad shells, return to life, and taste immortality. During his turn, each ghost soul hero must move onto the open shrines area and wait there until the next time phase. Then go to 1.2. The last thing we have to do is place out our miniatures, and we are going to start in the ghost form just like it told us to. So we're going to go ahead and place ourselves here. According to our quest, it told us to begin right there. Sword and Sorcery is broken up into different phases. We have the time phase, the battle phase, the event phase. The first turn, we're going to go ahead and skip the time phase, and we're going to try to get up to this shrine so that we can activate what we need to in the next time phase. So we're going to move right into the battle phase, which is how we're going to activate all our heroes. We can choose the order in which we want to go. We're going to go ahead and start with Sigrid, and in Ghost Soul form, she's able to use her free action to move 5. Notice she doesn't actually have a move action according to this card. So we're going to use her free action to move 5, and she has flight with that. So we're going to move ourselves right up to this awesome looking pedestal right there. Since we're in Ghost Soul form, we have hit a waypoint, and normally we'd go ahead and look at that in the Book of Secrets, but we can't interact with any of these things. And just to speed things up, Colin and I are just going to move all our guys just straight up here, because that's really what we're supposed to do for the first turn. All of us are just going to use our movement-free action to just move right up here. So let's go ahead and draw our first event card and see what it says. It is Soul Recall. Heroes gain 1 soul shard per hero. That's pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and take our soul shard counter here and go up 1, 2, 3. This is a really cool invention. I'm glad they put this in here. I love this soul shard counter. And we're going to go ahead and place this back up on top of the deck. And we're going to be moving it to the side in the next event phase. We're going to now move into the time phase. And since we're all right here, according to our story, we're going to go ahead and read 1.2. Colin, why don't you go ahead and read 1.2?
The divine power of the 3 brings each hero back to life. The world returns to sharpness, an almost painful process for senses dulled by eons of sleep. As the party is overwhelmed by sensations long forgotten, the ancestral choir sings one last time. The soil you tread in the under rain, a subterranean land usurped by a creature that dares to call herself queen in her unholy tyranny, and receive your reward. Now go forth, holy avengers!
And kapow! Just like that, our heroes are reborn, ready to take on the world of Sword and Sorcery. Now we're going to go ahead and move into our activations. We'll go ahead and start again with Sigrid. And since she's here in this place where the waypoint is, now that we're not in soul form, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that waypoint. 1.3 Waypoint 1. Now, of course, waypoints are free actions, and they're required free actions, so you have to do them as you trigger them. Decayed weapons lie scattered on the ground. Time has been unkind to their blades, but they still hold power enough to kill or maim. So now, once per quest, each hero moving over this waypoint can spend an action to choose and equip up to 2 item cards from the stash deck. This is a great time to now introduce all of our characters. We're going to start with Sigrid, because she's the first player here. And she's got a few abilities that are actually on her card, which are pretty awesome. She's got the Anvil of Thunder. And we did say we're going to be going with our lawful side, so that's why you see the 2 white wings here. This Anvil of Thunder allows us to roll soul rank divided by 2 red dice. For each lightning, I'm allowed to place a charge token on this hero card, and I can only get up to 3. And then as an action, I can go ahead and use Thunder Blow. I can discard X number of charges to add X number of hits to your next weapon attacks. Now down here, of course, is her stats. She has 2 items she can hold in her bag. She saves on a lightning bolt, and she has 3 movement when she takes her move action. She, of course, starts at Soul Rank 1. We all start at Soul Rank 1. I get 7 health. I also have 1 combat action, 1 action, and then I also have 1 power, and that star means that I also am able to get a talent card. So let's go ahead and check out what we've decided to use. I've gone ahead and taken Mighty Presence. This is one that's going to always be active unless you're KO'd. Well, unless I'm KO'd, then I count as 2 figures for controlling or dominating an area, which will help when we're fighting a lot of enemies. So I'm going to go ahead and place that here. And then I also get a talent, and my talent we've chose is Toughness. I'm going to be able to, at Soul Rank 1, gain 1 extra health. So instead of 7 health, I've got 8. Now reaching into that stash, I'm going to use my action now to reach into that stash, and I'm going to pull out the spear. This spear is a two-handed weapon. It rolls 2 red and 2 blue. It can even attack in the space I am or 1 away. And if I use it to attack 1 away, I get an extra combat dice. I know it seems a little weird because we're trying to keep I get the extra if I'm all together, but the amount of dice we're rolling and the extra things that it does is just so powerful. We decided this is probably the best bet. So we're going to go ahead and place it right up here where it shows that the weapon symbols are. After using my action, we are going to go ahead and use a movement activity, which allows me to use my speed value of 3. And I'm just going to go ahead and start moving on. I'm going to leave our group behind. Who knows? Maybe they'll catch up to me. Maybe they won't. We might be going out to our doom. I'm going to go ahead and move into here. And when I do have to do that free mandatory action of going ahead and checking out this waypoint. A finely carved door isolates the ancient temple from the outside world. Beyond, the heroes face the wilderness, untold perils, and the unnumbered challenges born of their destiny. Our way is blocked by an unlocked door, which we can open as a free action. You can do it even while you're moving. It doesn't actually stop your movement. So after we do unlock this door, I could continue my movement, and I've used 1 movement point right here. Let's go ahead and open this door. What's the worst thing that could happen? Oh, I know. We draw a trap card. Let's see what happens. We have our trap deck right over here. Let's see what it is. Oh, I've got black darts. Each hero within 2 areas is attacked by soul rank hits, and unless saves, suffer bleed per act equal to the act that we're on, which is 1. Looking over at Sigrid, she's going to go ahead and take that 1 damage, but she has armor enough to be able to block it. So we're going to block the armor, but we still have to save. So we're going to be rolling a blue die, and we're going to hope to see lightning bolts.
Here we have Jean. Oh, Jean looks so cool. Jean also has 1 armor, so no worries there. She will be able to block that 1 damage with that 1 shield. She will, though, try and roll a blue die and save on a star. And finally, we have Maya. Now, Maya has no armor, so normally she'd get to roll 1 blue die, but do you see this? She has magic armor to start with, or a magic shield, I should say. So we get to remove that 1 magic shield, which will regenerate the next time phase, and she doesn't have to roll any dice for that attack. We will have to do the save, though, and her save is a shield, which is the most likely success. So awesome for Maya.
Sigrid's going to go ahead and roll, and Colin said that shield was the number 1. Well, guess what's the worst? It's the lightning bolts. Let's go ahead and roll it up. Yeah, well, I got Colin's, but not mine. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bleed token, and these are terrible. We'll talk about them after we do all our saves.
The advantage, though, is Sigrid's done most of her actions already, so that's good. We really want Jean and Maya to succeed here, so we'll do Jean next, looking for a star. And no, we got the lightning bolt instead. So yeah, Jean takes a damage for that one. And then finally for Maya, looking for that shield. Oh no, I rolled everything wrong. Everything wrong. Yeah, you know, this must be I'm playing with Baron, so all my luck is gone. So we're all going to gain Bleed 1. You know what Bleed 1 does? For each activity that you do, you're going to take 1 point of damage until the next time phase. At the next time phase, you'll then tick that bleed number down. Since we're only getting bleed 1, that means we'll get rid of bleed 1. But that means for every activity, so that's moving, that's an activity. Doing an action, that's an activity. Attacking, that's an activity. You take a damage. Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
With the way that our luck was, we're just going to go divvy out all our bleed conditions. Everybody gets one. I feel like Oprah. You get a bleed condition. You get a bleed condition. Everybody gets a bleed condition. Now, I do get to continue my movement, and since I started that before we got these bleed conditions, the bleed does not activate during that movement. So I am actually going to, well, I'm going to go ahead and land on this story event, I think, next, because then we're going to read it and see what happens. Now, of course, I also have line of sight to this, but let's go ahead and check out the story event first.
The door opens on a forgotten corridor where dust and cobwebs lie thick and undisturbed. Once a glorious shrine, it is now a lost sepulchre owned by giant spiders. As they spot the heroes, the gigantic arachnids click their mandibles and shake their limbs, ready to assault the fresh victims that just invaded their hunting ground. So we're going to open the gremlin spawn gate, and then we're going to discard the story event 1 card. A lot of times you put those actually on top of the event deck. This one we're just going to discard.
We've gone ahead and removed the story card 1, and we're going to go ahead and then remove this and replace it with these cool looking spawn gates here. So we're going to go ahead and place that right here, and that's where things are going to spawn out of. Hopefully nothing spawns out, but I'm sure something will. Now, since we do have to check line of sight, we have a line of sight all the way from this X to this X. That's how you do line of sight. You check to see if the X's of the squares actually connect to an X that you're trying to look at. And since this X does connect to this X, we are able to see the shadow token. So we have to go ahead, flip it over, and reveal it. It's going to be a huge surprise because there's only one of them on the board. It's going to be a champion, which means we're going to be spawning an enemy, and it's going to be having an enemy power. So let's go ahead and take our 2 enemy cards that we have. I don't know which one is which. Let's check it out. Well, we got a green spider. Well, we knew it was a spider, we just didn't know which one. Okay, this one's going to have 4 health, and if we kill it, we're going to get a soul shard. All right, let's go ahead and see what enemy power it has. Let's reach into our power deck and see what power it has. Hopefully not bleed 1. Let's see what we got. Leader. At the beginning of its activation, all enemies in its area use their action. Well, that's actually fantastic because there's no other people in its area. So I'm going to go ahead and put Leader right down there with this spider. He's going to be ready to go against us, and we have to get our mini and put him out on the board. We've painted up our little green spiders here. Here they are. Roar, he's coming at us. He's right here. He looks pretty mean. I'm kind of worried about spiders. I'm definitely afraid of him, so this is awesome. Again, another dungeon crawl that has a bunch of spiders in it. Oh, this is awesome. A lot of things have happened, but I still have one more movement, so I'm actually going to move over here, and because we have that awesome spear, it's allowing me to use my fight action or activity up to 1 space away. So I'm going to go ahead and spear this guy. Why not, huh? But of course, when I do that, our bleed is going to take effect, and I'm going to go ahead and take 1 damage. So we're going to go ahead and place this right onto our character. But since we had that extra vitality because of our toughness, we're actually only at 7 wounds that we still have left. We started with 8. Oh, so good. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to this guy. We're going to go ahead and roll up our dice. I get 2 red dice and 2 blue dice when I go ahead and make this attack. And since I'm already at range 1, I'm going to gain 1 success already. Let's go ahead and roll them up. Come on, we need some good numbers here. I got a sword and sorcery symbol, a defense, a gremlin, and 1 success and a lightning bolt, which is going to, well, remove 1 armor. He doesn't have any armor, so I only did 2. We're going to go ahead and take our 2 damage that we did and put on the green spider. Sadly, it was not enough to kill him. I was really hoping to kill this guy because now he's going to be able to attack us potentially in this next turn. That's going to be the end of Sigrid's turn. She had a great turn. She had a movement activity, which got to open a door, grab to use her action to grab an awesome spear. She even got to fight something, and she also got stabbed and got some bleed token. That's awesome. And now we're going to go ahead, flip over our bookmark, which signifies the end of her turn. Let's go ahead, draw our encounter card, and see what happens. We have found Encounter. Activate no enemies, shuffle this encounter deck with the discard pile, and then discard this card. Oh my gosh, I got it's like the okay, that's amazing. Since our giant spider didn't activate, that also means that the leader ability is also not going to fire off. So we got really lucky with that draw.
Here we have Maya. So if anyone has watched our Chronicles of Drunagor playthrough, I'm playing Maya there. So when we saw there was a Maya character here, it was a no-brainer. I had to play her. She's our spellcaster / illusionist. So looking at her specific soul sheet we have, she's a level 1, she only has 4 health, and she's bleeding. She has 1 combat activity, she gets 2 action activities, she gets 1 regular power and 1 talent. That's how she starts. You can take a look at her card. She's a magic type. She has an action on her card where she can summon sparkles. And that would be it. We can activate all illusions in play. If there are no illusions in play before activating, summon 1 illusion of rank Act in your area. So level 1 in our area. Well, what is that? Let's take a look at this card right here. This tells us that our illusionist has 3 health, 3 movement, 1 health. It's a mirror image. For each illusion in Maya's area, you must roll a blue die. If you get a shield, kill 1 of the illusions to ignore an attack against Maya. Awesome. We also have displacement. For each illusion in the target enemy's area, all Maya attacks against the targeted enemy inflict +1 damage, and it's ethereal. It cannot be directly targeted by enemies. Yes. Oh, and the biggest and most important thing is, it's not considered another character, so you don't have to consider her illusions as more characters. Her ability, or power I should say, we grabbed Thunderstrike. So this takes an action activity to use. We can do it at a range of 0 through 2. We'll roll 1 red and 1 blue die, and then it will cool down in 1 turn. If we get 1 lightning bolt, we can KO. If we get a lightning bolt and we get a star, we AoE at a range of 0, which would be awesome. The talent that we decided to pick is the Analytical Mind. So this one says re-roll any search dice. And then, once per journey, you can spend an extra time when visiting any site sheet. You'll see how that works when we do the journey portion of this game, which is really, really cool, a new thing that they've added. Now, you would think Maya would pick up a weapon, but you know what? She doesn't need a weapon, and she wants all of her actions, because she wants to take that spider out before it attacks Sigrid. So she's going to use her movement activity. She's going to take a point of damage because she's bleeding. It's 1 out of her 4. She is going to move a whopping 1, 2 spaces right here. She is within range 2 now. She will use her first action to do Thunder Strike. That's going to give her another point of damage. And you know what she's also going to do? Something that most people forgot in the last game. It's called Focus. You can focus your attack, and that gives you +1 attack on a single attack that you're doing. But that's another action, so that means we're taking another point of damage, which means we're now down to 3 damage. We only have 1 health left. This is risky, but it means we have 1 automatic success. We're looking to only get 1 more and we can take that spider out. We already have that 1 success. We just need 1 more on these 2 dice. We have got it! Yes! That means the spider is no more, and we'll go ahead and grab our 4th soul shard as well. So now we are at 4. We'll be able to remove this spider. Didn't even get to activate. And we'll discard these 2 cards here. We'll put the enemy card in the enemy discard and the power card in the power discard pile. At the end of Maya's turn, who only has 1 health, she'll flip this over to say she's completed her turn. We don't have to draw an encounter card because there are no enemies on the board. Take that. Now we're going to move to Jean's turn. So the first thing Jean's going to do, she's going to spend an action, and she's going to pick up some weapons from the stash. But you know what that means? 1 damage. Let's go ahead and first, though, before we do all of that, let's look at her information. So she has 7 health, well now 6. She'll have 1 combat activity, 1 action activity, and 1 level 1 power. Her power that she chose is the Healing Wave. Yeah, we need some healing. Unfortunately, it takes an action, so she's not going to be able to do it this round. She can remove 1 body condition within range 1 and heal 1 plus soul rank divided by 2, and you always round up in this game, so that would be a total of 2 HP. And this is to target hero. It'll take 2 rounds to come back, but at level 4, it'll be all heroes in the target area. That'll be cool. So she's going to go ahead and pick up 2 items. Definitely not the wand, because that was what we were going to do with Maya. That didn't work. Instead, we're going to pick up the mace and the buckler. How do those 2 sound? So the mace here, it is a one-handed weapon, so that's why she can pick up the shield. She'll roll 1 red and 3 blue dice. She can pick this up because she is a faith-based hero, so that works. We will also have the buckler. Anyone can hold that except for, of course, Maya. She's not going to hold that. It's going to make her illusion be harder to make. This just gives you 1 auto success if you use it as an attack and 1 blue die, but it also gives you an ability that when you're defending, you get +1 shield if you roll a lightning bolt. Now, something we haven't talked about. In this game, if ever I rolled, let's say, 3 lightning bolts in 1 defending roll, I can only ever activate each ability once, so I can only get +1 1 time with this card. I did forget to talk about her power. So Jean here has an action ability where she can heal act HP, so that'd be 1, to target hero. You can also choose to discard the placed Dome of Resistance token to heal the same amount of HP to all other heroes within the range of effect of that token. We don't have a way of putting out that token yet, but once we do, that'll be super cool. We can have 2 things in our backpack, and we can move a total of 3. Finally, we'll have Jean take another point of damage. She's going to move to 2, but that means she can move. She has a total movement of 3. We'll move her 1, 2, saying bye to Maya. Thanks for taking care of that spider for us. And we'll move into this space. Perfect. We're going to end our turn. There's no enemies on the board, so we don't need to draw our encounter cards. We'll simply move to the next time phase. At that beginning of the time phase, or actually I shouldn't say that, we'll first move to the event phase. During the event phase, we simply take the event card and discard it. We're going to discard it over here. Since we don't reveal another event card, there's nothing else we need to do there. Now we'll move to the time phase. During that time phase, we'll all be able to remove our bleed 1 tokens, thank goodness, and then we'll start our activations again. Of course, with everything going on, we forgot during the time phase, we can level up because we have 4 soul shards. How you can determine that you can level up is you look to see your lowest level hero, whatever level they're going to move to, so for us that's going to be level 2, you take that level, multiply it by itself, so 2 times 2, which is 4. If you have that amount of soul shards, you spend that amount of soul shards and you level up the lowest leveled hero. Now we're all at level 1, so we can choose which one we want to level up. So we're going to spend all 4 of our soul shards going down to 0, and we're going to level up Maya, especially because she only has 1 health. So what we'll do is we actually get to move this from level 1 up to level 2. Now, she will not be able to move up to level 3 until everyone else is at level 2. You always have to level up your lowest leveled hero. So now she has 5 health, so she has 2 health remaining. she now will gain 1 additional power. And her power that she's going to choose is the illusionary attack. So this is a combat activity. It says attack target enemy in the same area as an illusion, ignoring distance and line of sight. And you can do the act 1, so we'll do 1 damage, we'll roll 1 red die. If we get a lightning bolt, we can actually bash. Actually, no, the bash happens no matter what. The lightning bolt means we'll get -2 armor. And we'll roll 2 blue dice, and if we get a star, we can slow them. So cool. So we'll place that over here.
We're going to go ahead and start with Jean. Jean's going to start by using her action. She's going to go ahead and use Healing Wave. This is going to be able to heal 2 points of damage off of Maya. So Maya's sitting only at 1 health off. So losing all that damage during the bleed wasn't the end of the world. We were able to heal her. Now, of course, we do have to flip this over, and this is a 2. It's going to take 2 to actually recover it, so I'm going to go ahead and place it back down next to our character in this way. So it's going to take an extra time to get that back compared to that Thunder Strike that Colin just used. It only needed 1, so we should have flipped it over and brought it back, but that's okay. We're going to continue on. I'm going to go ahead now and use her move activity, and she's going to move 1, 2, and when she moves into here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at X, the waypoint X in that Book of Secrets.
Suddenly, something chittering and horrible leaps from the ceiling. 2 insectoid monstrosities surge forward, spattering the floor with poisonous spittle in their furious need to attack. Before the heroes can act, one of the chitinous horrors hurls itself at her, wrapping its spiny legs around her torso like a vice. Place 1 venom minion in the waypoint X area and another venom minion over the active hero's sheet. See Chest Hugger on the Venom scroll. Hey, Chest Hugger, does that sound familiar? Remove waypoint X from the board. So we'll go ahead and remove this from the board.
Oh, they're taking a callback to Alien. This is pretty awesome. Here is our Venom minion. It's an occult threat. This minion only counts as an enemy for the purpose of being targeted. Attacking and defending each figure acts independently. And over here, you're going to see that it has 0 presence, so it's never going to be counted when it comes to figuring out who's dominating or controlling an area. It apparently has decided to combine both parts of the alien. It is a chest hugger, so a chest burster and face hugger together, you get a venom. It says at the end of each enemy turn, each venom moves up to 3 areas toward the closest hero. If, before or after this movement, a venom is in the same area as a hero, discontinue movement and place that venom on the hero sheet. In case of multiple heroes, the venom chooses a hero without venoms attached first. Then use the standard victim selection criteria. Once on a hero sheet, a venom can no longer be targeted as an enemy. A hero can spend its attack activation to defeat all venoms on the hero sheet of another hero in the same area. There are a couple more powers that this has. One of them is 6-legged insect. It's going to ignore hindrances. We haven't come across any hindrances yet, but we may come across them in the future. It also now has infection. At the end of each event phase, heroes suffer poison equal to the act for each venom on their hero sheet. All venoms on hero sheets are then discarded. And again, it's reminding us that it has 0 presence and its health is equal to the act. So they really only have 1 at this point. We're going to go ahead and take our chest hugger miniature right here and place it down right on her card. Oh, so sorry we made you go first. We'll place the other venom right here, and we're going to go continuing on with Jean. Jean has done her movement activity, and she's performed her action, so she still has her attack activity if she wishes to, and I think she's going to go ahead and take this out. Nowhere does it say that she can attack with a chest hugger attached to her, so we're going to go ahead and see if she can take this thing out. And since these venoms don't actually have any presence, we're technically dominating this place with her, giving us 1 additional success, and since these only have 1 health, I don't even have to roll. We could roll a whole ton of dice with this mace. Look, 1 red, 3 blue. Oh, sometimes it's fun to just roll dice. But we're just going to go ahead and remove that figure because, well, we already did 1 success, and they only have 1 health. That's the end of her activation. We're going to go ahead, flip her bookmark over, and move into our next character.
Maya will go next. She will use her move activity to move 1, 2, 3, moving into the same space as Jean. Then she'll use her combat activity and she will punch that venom that is on Jean, taking care of that. Get rid of that. We don't want to see that. We have not used either one of our action activities. So what do you say we start by using our summon sparkles? Activate all illusions in play. We don't have any in play. If there's none in play, we can summon 1 at a rank 1 in our area. What we're going to do right now, since we're supposed to use this standee. Who wants to use standees when we've got miniatures? So we're going to use our ghost miniature for Maya as if it's our illusion, just because I think it looks cool. So we'll place that there. We'll then use our second action to bash down this door. Now, this door is considered a locked door. You can see how it looks a little bit different than the one that you saw before. This is a normal door. For a free action, you can open this. With a locked door, you have to actually take a bash action to open this up and unlock it. But by doing that, we will have to draw a trap. And the trap we have is, a spawning pentacle. Oh, great. Spawn one enemy with 1 power in the active hero's area. Then, unless saved, that hero, we have to immediately activate that enemy. The enemy that we are going to draw is, of course, the other giant spider. Now, this one's going to drop some crowns, which will be good for us. It's going to have 1 presence for health. And let's see what we have for our power. Our power has, the enemy also counts as undead. When this enemy deals damage with its main attack to a hero, unless saved, the party loses souls. That's really, really cool. It's a soul drinker. What a name. That's not going to matter now. We don't have any, but we used them already. You can't drink our souls. But that's still cool that they have that in this game. We'll place out that scary looking spider. And look at this one, has a web. Ooh, Baron did a great job painting those as usual. We are going to try and save. Now, if you remember, our save is a shield for Maya, so that's all we need is a shield. And of course, we never roll a shield, because why would we? So instead, that giant spider is immediately going to activate. Well, this is going to be loads of fun. We're going to look at our giant spider. Our giant spider is going to look for their preferred victim. The preferred victim is the one that has the least amount of wounds, irregardless of how much health they have. Maya only has 1 wound, and between Maya and Jean, Jean actually has 2 because Jean healed Maya. Thank you, Jean, for that. Not. So that means range 0. If the victim is slowed, use entrapped. We're not slowed. Instead, it's going to attack with bite and then try and move away 1 area. Attacking with bite means it's going to roll 2 red dice, and if they get a lightning bolt, they're going to poison 1. Before we do that activation, we do have our illusion, and our illusion is in the same space as Maya. It says here, for each illusion in Maya's space, you must roll a blue die. If you get a shield, kill one of the illusions to ignore an attack against Maya. Let's see if we can actually get the shield this time. Looking for a shield instead of the star, we got the shield. You know what that means? We will remove this illusion. The attack totally doesn't happen. But this spider is going to move 1 space away, moving 1 space away from the other heroes. And that will now end Maya's turn. Is there anything else she can do? She did both her actions. She did a combat activity. The one thing I did forget to show you guys too during the time phase, I'm so out of practice in this game. It's been a while. I should have regenerated this 1 magic shield. So I do still have that, which is good, because guess what's going to happen? At the end of our activation, we have to draw an encounter card. And our encounter card will say, activate all green enemies. Yeah, we definitely have a green enemy. That would be our giant spider. So let's go ahead and activate that quick. We see here, now we're at range 1 or 2. It's going to attack with web. So web is 1 auto success, 3 blue dice, and if they get a star, they're going to slow. And this is once again attacking Maya. We no longer have our illusion to dodge that attack, so we're just going to get hammered. We have our 1 auto success here. We'll roll our 3 blue dice. That is 1, 2, 3 hits, and we definitely have a slowed. Now, the nice thing is we do have 1 of our magic shields to block 1 of the attacks. However, our defense then is only 1 blue die. So we have a total of 2 hits that are coming in. We can only block 1 if we get a shield here. We got a shield. So that means we're taking 1 point of damage, but it does also mean that we are going to be slowed. So we now have 2 points of damage and we're slowed. Our slowed token looks like this. They now have these different tokens that have different types of statuses on it. So you can see the one that's pointing up is the one that's affecting us. That's the slowed symbol. What this means is Maya's next turn, she can do as many free actions as she wants, but then she can only do 1 activity of either a combat activity, a movement activity, or an action activity, no matter how many of those we actually have. So we have 2 of the action activities, but if I do an action, I can only do 1 of them. And then this will go away at the end of our next turn.
Sigrid has seen the other 2 girls have a wonderful time. It's her turn. She wants to get into the action. She's going to go ahead and use her movement activity to go ahead and go 1, 2 spaces to right there. At this point, I'm going to use my action activity to power up. I'm going to go ahead and focus by gaining an extra +1 to my successes. And then I'm going to go ahead and use that spear again. Come on, I can't do terrible 2 times in a row. We're going to go ahead and get our extra one. So we're already at 2 successes already, and I get to roll 2 red dice and 2 blue dice. Come on, we should be able to take this guy out. We're going to go ahead, grab those dice, and see how we do. We're already at 2 successes, so let's go ahead and roll these and see what we get. We got 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, 3 and a star. That's fantastic. We also got 2 shields, but the shields don't matter. That's enough to take this thing out. We're going to go ahead and remove it from the board. We're going to gain our 5 crowns, so we're going to go ahead and take one of those neat little coins I got from the original Kickstarter, those little coiny things here that has a little 5 on it. I'm going to take that. That's all mine. And we're going to go ahead and remove his enemy card from the board. Now, he did have this soul drinker. We didn't actually activate this because we didn't have any soul shards for him to drink up, which is fantastic. Just to make sure we are telling everything we should, we don't actually just get these. They fall on the ground, and we have to pick these up as a free action. So even though we killed it here, I am still able to pick this thing up. I don't just automatically get these. You have to take them as a free action. So we did get the 5 crowns because they could be in another square. You might kill something from farther away, and you'd have to run over there and try to grab them. You don't just get the gold, but it's really fun to get the gold. We're now going to move into the event phase. So we're going to go ahead and draw our next card and see what we get. It says abandoned loot. Roll a red dice and place something equal to the roll. So let's go ahead and roll our die and see what we get. We're going to take our red die right here. Come on, I want to see something really good. This is going to be fantastic. Oh, I got 2 lightning bolts. Let's see what it says here. It says here 2 lightning bolts. Oh my gosh, 2 lightning bolts. I get to place 2 bags of awesomeness out of the board. Oh, that's great. And they're in the active heroes area. We're going to go ahead and grab our loot counters here. We're just going to mix them up a little bit so we don't know what is what. We're going to put 2 of them out on the board. We're going to take this one and this one, place them out right there. And we're going to go put the other 4 over here away from everything. We're going to place this back on top of the deck, just like that. Now we can pick these loot tokens up as free actions during our turn, just like crowns. But of course, you can't have any enemies in the space when it comes to picking up crowns or loot tokens or anything else for that matter. So that's going to be the end of our event phase. We're going to move over into the time phase. So we're going to go ahead and flip this back up to 1. We're going to go ahead and then continue into the next turn. The first person we're going to activate is Siegfried. We're going to go ahead and move her up, but first she is going to grab a loot token since she was the one who got them during the time phase, because I rolled the die. It's pretty awesome. I could choose, which one do we do? This one, this one? Oh, we'll take this one. Hopefully it's something really awesome. Well, we found 20 crowns. You can't go wrong with that. I can buy a lot with that. So we're going to go ahead and give ourselves 20 crowns out of that loot. There's also crowns that come in 10s, and we're just going to go ahead and take a couple of those, put them on our character. I have 25 bucks. That's 25 more than anybody else that we have in this adventure. I'm going to go ahead now and use a move activity to go ahead and move over here. This is going to activate waypoint 3. Let's take a look. 1.7 waypoint 3. As she walks by some rubble, the hero feels a shiver in her soul. So once per round, each hero moving over this waypoint must roll 3 red dice. If at least 1 sword and sorcery symbol is rolled, we're going to go to 1.9. Otherwise, we're going to continue to 1.8. Sigrid's going to go ahead and roll her 3 dice. Let's see what she got. She did not get a single one of those sword and sorcery symbols. Oh, sadness. I'm going to read 1.8. I'm guessing that's not the good outcome. And yet, all that she sees are the remains of a desecrated altar. Yeah, way to go, 1.8. Roll those sword and sorcery next time. I'm going to continue on with my move activity to move over into story event number 2, and we're going to read and apply the story effects described in the storybook.
Outside the shrine, the lands of the Underrain appear in their wild beauty, filled with immense stone vaults and labyrinthine tunnels. The temple's path, clearly abandoned for countless years, offers the heroes no clue as to the unknown fate they march together towards. Spawn 1 enemy. If there are 4 more heroes, we can ignore that. Resume play until all heroes are not engaged and are located in the story event 2 area. Then we're going to go to 1.11 and we're going to discard this story event card. So we'll just discard it instead of putting it on top of the event deck. We'll grab our 1 enemy card and we're going to spawn a green spider again.
We're going to go ahead and place down our enemy right here. I'm not too worried about this guy. I'm going to go ahead and focus with my action activity to go ahead and give myself +1. And I'm actually considered 2 people because of my ability. We have that mighty presence. So unless I'm KO'd, I count as 2 figures. So I'm going to be actually dominating this area, which is going to give us 1 more success when we go ahead and attack. Because guess what we're going to do? We're going to stab this guy with the spear again. Now, of course, I'm not at +1 or the 1 range away, so I don't get the extra 1, but I still get to roll 2 red dice and 2 blue dice. Come on, we should be able to take this guy out. Come on, Sigrid, let's go. We got a total of 1, 2 more. That's enough to take this guy down. Boom, 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 boom. With her hammer, this guy's gone. Totally off the board. We're able to gain a soul gem from that, which is going to be absolutely awesome. I'm going to give myself 1. We're going to remove this card. And that's really going to be the end of her turn. She's going to go ahead, flip her bookmark just like that. And we're going to move into somebody else's turn. Who should go next?
We'll move to Jean next. Jean will first do a free action. She'll go ahead and grab 15 coins, or crowns as they're called in this game. So she now has 15 crowns, trying to keep up with the Joneses or Sigrid, one or the other. She will then do her movement activity, moving here. This means she gets to do her roll of the dice. So let's roll her 3 red dice, looking for the SS, and we don't get it. So we failed that. We'll just move into here. That's all we're going to do. I think that, yeah, that'll end our activation. Now Maya is next. Remember, she is slowed, so the only thing she can do is 1 of either a movement, an action, or a combat. Definitely going to do the movement, but she can still do free actions. So that means we should be able to, for free, still roll our 3 red dice looking for the SS. Come on, SS. We got it. There's the SS. I knew Maya would do it. As she walks by some rubble, the heroes feel a shiver in her soul and decides to dig through the remains of a broken altar, extricating an item of rare beauty. A splinter of ancient marble carved with the countenance of the goddess Aneris. Judging by the shape, broken and incomplete as it may be, the artifact represents the left side of the sacred symbol of the 3. This relic's divine power is so great it can be clearly felt, even in just this fragment. The active hero gains the Aneris Shard quest card. Remove waypoint 3 from the quest. We'll grab that card and look at this. Once per round, the target hero heals 1 HP. And you can do this as a free action. Once per quest, you can perform a pray action. We haven't done a pray action yet, but you can do a pray action as a free action without being over an open shrine. Pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and give that to Maya, put it in her backpack. Maya will also remove this. This should no longer be there. Maya will then move to this spot. We have no enemies here. We now will read 1.11. The party gathers and begins their march through the darkness. We have a note from a faithful cleric of the 3 gods. Every tale begins with a prologue, a minor task accomplished before the simple myth becomes heroic legend. But not this story. From its beginning, this is an epic saga of immortal avengers, reborn by the will of the gods as sacred vestiges of an ancient power, now awake and is relentless. Their actions become magnificent in the eyes of frail mortals, and in the end, their quest evolves into an ancestral inspiring muse for every bard song in this underground realm. Wow, that is a lot of words, Barrett. Holy moly. Rewards. The party gains 1 time for each unrevealed event card left in the event deck. Well, we only had 1, so we get 1 time. We'll take that. Next, we're going to travel to the Underrain map to the Temple Pathway.
There you have it. We've made it to the first quest of Sword and Sorcery, Ancient Chronicles. Our 3 characters were able to make it out. We even were able to level up one of our characters. We're pretty excited about that. We're going to be moving into this Underrain area now. So it's this big map that I've only see a small little portion over here, and where it says begin the God's Temple Quest 1. That is what we completed, and now we're going to continue into our storybook in the next video. We're going to see what befalls these characters. Now, Colin and I don't know how long the Underrain is going to last. So if it's not a very long part of the game, we're just going to go right into the second quest in the next video as well. Otherwise, we're going to make this a separate video moving forward. And Colin will be joining me in every single one of these games. We're going to try to make it all the way through this entire campaign together. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So you're going to be able to see this video not only here on Meet Me at the Table, but also at the One Stop Co-op Shop. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll see more Sword and Sorcery videos coming out very soon. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Did we pick some fun characters? Are you excited to see what happens to our characters? Oh, I've been waiting for this for a long time. This would be an absolute blast. Thank you so much again for watching. And if you're excited to see if our brave characters can make it through the world of Sword and Sorcery, then I need you to meet us at the table.
It's your master plan to fill me up with all your energy.
Sigrid, right?
Oh my gosh, it is her
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
I called her Siegfried before.
Oh. Siegfried, Sigrid, Sigmead.
Sigrid.